I'm a hustler, baby.
It's time for Hustle Her podcast. I'm your host, Ashleigh Simons. Hustle Her is all about inspiring women through real life experiences that have helped to mold and develop not only me, but my guests into the entrepreneurs and leaders we are today. If you're an enterprising woman determined to succeed and looking for a bit of motivation, a bit of tough love, and some actionable takeaways to be the best you, girl, you are in the right place. My next guest is the CEO and formulator of the modern all-natural feminine care brand, which focuses on intimate skincare solutions. Sade Milan, help me welcome Ashleigh Simons. Welcome.
Hi, Shay.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah. Still nervous?
Yes.
Don't be. It's not necessary. We're just going to have a conversation, you and me, talk about your business, and it'll be great. All right? Mm-hmm. All right. So let's do some rapid fires. We'll get my listeners to know a little bit more about you, help me to know a little bit more about you, and then we'll jump right in.
Okay.
Cool?
Cool.
All right. Favorite animal?
Tiger.
Okay, I like it. All right. Favorite color?
Yellow.
Food?
Everything.
I feel that on a spiritual
Lemon
level.
pepper wings.
We need a good lemon pepper wing place in Bermuda.
We do.
We don't have one.
No.
No, not at all. All right, favorite month of the year?
January.
Is your birthday in
My
January?
birthday in January.
Okay, all right. What about your first job?
Grocery packing.
Really?
Yeah.
I always wanted to do it, but
Why?
I don't know. I felt like everyone was doing it and I wasn't. And
You didn't miss out on anything.
I didn't miss anything.
No.
Okay, fair point. Okay, what's your favorite show right now?
Dynasty.
Netflix. I need to catch up. I think I've only watched season 1 or 2.
Yeah, I'm on like 4.
Really? Okay. I'll get there one day. Favorite character on the show?
Favorite character. I just
Okay. Like the show.
Yeah.
What's a song you're listening to on repeat right now?
anything Jeezy.
Okay. You like rap. That's your thing. Okay. Cool. Where'd you go to school?
In Tampa.
Makes
That's
sense.
why.
Down south. Yeah. That you
That's
can
exactly
always
why.
tell. You can always
Like
tell.
people's musical selections.
Yep. You can always tell where people went to university based on that. And do you remember where you went to your first concert? Who your first concert was with?
My first concert, it was Beyonce, Alicia Keys, and Missy Elliott. It was
Really? That's a lineup.
years ago, like high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a lineup. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Alicia Keys is good. But the Beyonce experience, it is that there.
But that was back then. I feel like she got so much better, like as the years have gone on.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, so let's jump in, Ash. So outside of your day-to-day job, you started this amazing skincare brand for women called Sade Milan. Where did that come from?
So Sade Milan is actually my daughter's middle name.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure about a name for the business. And I was like, you know what? Her middle name is really pretty.
It is
And
very
it
nice.
fits, so.
Mhm.
And I could grow the brand with the name.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Doesn't pigeonhole you into doing just one
Exactly.
type of thing. So did you just start making the products for yourself, or was it just kind of like, I'm looking for something to do?
No, so it was started during lockdown, COVID. I had shaved, I gotten a couple of ingrown hairs, and it's just like, and it wasn't the first time that that's happened. And I was like, well, I'm got downtime. I'm gonna make something for myself. And so I started researching ingredients, going online, ordering stuff. And I think during that time, we just had so much. I think we were on social media a lot more, and there was a lot more of this narrative of, there's more to life than it's 9 to 5, and it's not as secure, and follow your passions, follow your dreams. And I think coupled these two things together, things just kind of lined up, and I was like, well, if I can figure this out for myself, and through my research, I saw so many YouTube videos, Instagram posts about women of color in particular having this issue. And I was like, well, if I could figure it out, then I could help myself and help a lot of other people and bring that with the narrative of having more than just my 9 to 5, I was like, well, if this works, then maybe I could try this and see what happens.
Right. And so what was your first product that you made, or did you do a few different ones?
So the first one I ever made was the intimate wash. And so I tested that on my friends.
You use them all as like your guinea pigs?
I used all of my friends.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
No, I use her products, guys. They're the truth. So this is not like I don't know type of thing. This is not a paid advertisement. But no, it's amazing products. And so after the intimate wash was
the ingrained hair serum. That I guess they were side by side. The ingrained hair serum was what started it. But it took me so long to figure it out. I was like, well, I'm going to put this down and I'm going to start something else. And that's where the intimate wash came from. But the ingrained hair serum was my main focus.
And what was the feedback you were getting from your friends? Like, how was that?
They were like, oh my gosh, like, I love this. Well, after the failures, they were like, yeah, we really like this. Yeah. And the more people that I spoke to outside of my friend circle, my immediate circle, they were like, yeah, like I would like to try something like that. I've been dealing with this since I was 18, 19 years old. You're really onto something.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, I'll just keep going. Yeah,
I mean, you say failures, but they couldn't have been like massive ones because you started in 2021. It's beginning of 2023. And I feel like it's pretty successful in terms of like the churn out of the products that you're going. I feel like you introduce a new one every restock. So it's going really well.
It's going really well. I would say maybe the failures more so on myself. I obviously tested on myself first and then passed it to my friends.
I get it. Yeah.
They got the secondary fails, which are not as bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been going really well.
Yeah. And so how many products would you say you have now?
That's about 7. Well, no.
Yeah. And it started with just the ingrain.
So I started with a whole line because I wanted people to have a routine, establish a routine. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have an intimate wash, the ingrain hair serum, a dark mark corrector. Because what tends to happen when you pick your ingrown hairs, you got the dark marks that are left behind. So I was like, okay, this makes sense. Create a dark mark corrector, a bikini oil. I thought about the women who shave and wax, and you want something for after you wax, something that can soothe the irritation. And the turmeric scrub.
That's good, yeah.
So exfoliation is super important. If you shave or wax, if you remove your hair, period, exfoliation is super important. So I just wanted to have a whole line that people could create a routine with.
And it's working really well. I mean, I think you take everyone through like the beginning process to like a completion of your intimate care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like for a lot of us, I remember when I first started my page, I asked in a poll, how old were you when you started shaving or waxing, or who taught you how to take care of yourself? And a lot of people were like, well, I was never taught. Google taught me. Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of the problems came from, is that people didn't really talk about it. And so you just left up to your own devices. And then that's when you get all the ingrown hairs and dark marks because you don't have a routine, because you don't know. Yeah. And so I wanted to bring that to the forefront, and so people would have, something to guide them, especially younger girls.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, now that you say that, I don't think I can think of anyone who was kind of like, this is what you do when it comes to intimate care down there. I mean, other than like your mom telling you don't use smelly stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't smell like anything. It was never like, oh, okay, cool, so you wax now, this is what you need to do. Like a routine for your intimate area. I feel like that's a new kind of thing that has come up. Like, what do you think kind of drives that or has driven that?
You mean the move towards
I don't know. I feel like pre-COVID, I didn't think about it like that either. Now that I think about it, maybe it was just COVID time and more people doing research and being more vocal about it, or was it? I don't know.
I guess we're shifting towards a time where people or women are being more open and not so gatekeepy. And I can't even blame the generation before us, because they probably didn't even wax or do stuff like that. When I started, I found it just became this snowball. So when I first started, I didn't have anything to sell, but I just started making educational posts or funny posts about vulva skincare, about vaginas, about hygiene. And I feel like it just opened up this portal where women were just, they may not put comments on the page, but they were DMing me. And it just became like word vomit, like just sharing their experiences, sharing their insecurities, sharing what they weren't confident about. And I think a lot of the success of the page came from that time period where women felt like, okay, this is a safe space, or she's a safe person. And I could talk to her and not feel judged or made fun of. I feel like when it comes to dark marks, especially in your bikini areas, summertime is like,
I know, you just want to get rid of them.
The most insecure time for people. So they just started following the page, and I was like, okay, this is a safe space. Yeah,
and it was super interactive as well. Like you would ask questions that you're like, yeah, I don't. You know, it was a little thought-provoking, but funny.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of humor in it as well. Like the jokes about, you know, don't let someone's dirty son enter, you know, that type of stuff. It's funny, right? And so I think that helps with the engagement of it, of the page. And then you post the products too and how to like make it better. It's not gimmicky. It's almost you know, like, so it felt that way. To be fair, before I knew that the brand was you, I followed the page. And then I was like, who is this? And I think Barclay told me that it was you.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah, which is great. It doesn't, you know, you always want people to follow the brand because it's good, not necessarily because of.
And that was the thing. So obviously total introvert, but I wanted the people that followed the page, I knew they were following because of the content on the page or the products that they saw. It had nothing to do with me. I didn't share my face on the page till about a year after I started. So most people didn't even know that it was mine.
Wow. But that speaks to the brand and then the quality of the products as well.
Yeah, so. And that's why I wanted people there.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So you are what we would consider not a part-time entrepreneur, or the entrepreneur, though we know like what you do is like an everyday thing, right? But when I say that, meaning like you still have a regular 9 to 5, like how do you find doing both?
A challenge. My 9 to 5 is very demanding. And then so is this growing business. So it's literally just sacrificing picking my battles. It's sacrificing sleep to make sure my side business continues. But I don't know what the word balance means. It's just I pick whichever is more pressing that day, and that's what I focus on.
Yeah. Yeah, I ask that balance question a lot with all my guests, and it's so interesting how many women are kind of like, balance. What's that?
What is that?
Literally, like something you lose out on something at some point to kind of make one be successful at one period of time. So I just reframe the question in some way, shape, or form, or maybe somebody has the formula and they give it to us later on. But yeah, it's a lot doing having a regular, I should say not regular, but a traditional job, and then having a side business. It's a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of late nights. Like
it is, and especially for if you still have your 9 to 5, you still have to be present and do a good job. Like that is your stability.
Yeah.
Right there. So
that funds the side business in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is. So you have to put your effort into that in order to keep it, to still be able to do your side business until such time, you know, the numbers make sense and you can go full time.
Is that something you aspire to at some point, or do you kind of want to keep it to, you know, this kind of monthly, every 2 month kind of restock? This is my side brand.
Eventually I'd like to go full time when the numbers make sense.
Of course, it's got to make sense.
I know some people online, they're like, you know, just go for it, you know, you'll figure it out. I'm not that risk taker. I'm very methodical. I'm very, okay, once I reach this goal inside business, or once I hit this number, or once I have this amount of savings, once, you know, XYZ is done for my daughter, then I'll move. I'm not diving into anything head first.
No, and that's okay. You know, sometimes, like I said it already today, like we're in this culture now where some people just see people doing stuff and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna quit my job and do it tomorrow." You know,
they make it look easy,
and it's not.
Entrepreneurship is not for the weak.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. And then, you know, you also have competition that pop out trying to do the exact same things that you're doing. So, you know, but I'm a firm believer, if you're true to your brand, none of that stuff matters, you know?
It doesn't. Like, being your authentic self and building a community around your brand is everything. Whether you have 1,000 people doing the same thing as you, like you are the special thing.
Yeah.
So don't be discouraged.
For what does like growth and success look like for you with the business?
So growth in I'll say the long term, I would love for Ashleigh Milan to be one, like everything that I love. So apparel, skincare now, home decor. Like I want Ashleigh Milan on everything.
Yeah.
Like how, you know, Rihanna has Fenty. Like she's been able to separate her business into different brands and have them all be successful. Like that is what like my ultimate
goal is.
Goal would be.
Absolutely. And I think it's totally doable. Like, I mean, we were just talking earlier about how you have international people now and there's different, you know, nuances there, obviously, because we live in Bermuda, but the growth will come because the product is good, which
eventually
is good. Yeah. Might not be as quickly as we would like it to be, but you know, it always works out that so it'll work out at some point in time.
I don't want anything fast. Like progress takes time, and I'm willing to take that time.
Yeah. Good. Tell me about 18-year-old Ashleigh. Like, what did she want to do? What did she want to be?
18-year-old Ashleigh had no clue. Like, she had absolutely no idea. Like, I was one of those kids that was like generally good at everything, but great at nothing in particular. So I went to school, still not knowing what I wanted to do. My mom was like, well, pick a degree that you can find a job in when you come back.
Right.
That was the extent of it. I came back. I did the graduate training programs because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was just kind of floating around. Didn't know.
Yeah. So even more, what about when you were little, like little Ashleigh? Like, what did she want to do?
That's probably something in sports. Like I did track and field as a kid. Probably something in sports.
Really? Yeah. I don't know why. I thought you were going to say something in science because like so much of your brand is like
science.
Yeah.
Science and math.
Yeah.
All the things that I hated.
Really?
Yeah.
Same there.
Did not like chemistry, biology. Terrible in math. In college, like my friends would do my finance and math homework. Like shout out to Sue at Naked Zero.
Right. Not Sue. That's hilarious.
Do my homework.
Yeah, I know, but I guess it's knowing your strengths. But then as you get older as well, when you're an entrepreneur, you are all things, right, to the business. So you kind of have to suck it up and do it, right, in order to make the business successful.
Exactly. So now I do accounting and I focus on it because I'm like, wow, I have to know what my numbers are.
Yeah.
To see if things make sense. You have to be a social media manager.
Which you love so much.
Which I love so much. I'm a chemist. Like it's just all the things to make it work.
Nice. So how are you generating the newer ideas for the new products that you're having? Like I know you said how it started with just that routine, but outside of that with like the candles now as well, like what kind of helps with those ideas?
My customers. Like they are not afraid to give their suggestions, but it's good because some people give the exact same suggestions. I'm like, wow, this is what people want, so I'm gonna try it. So I'll do, small batches to see if it catches on or what the feedback is, and then continue with what catches on. But I listen to my girls, like whatever they suggest.
That's good, because that helps build a good customer base, like the returning customer, because they feel a part of the brand.
Exactly.
Yeah, that works really well. And also because the social media following, like you said earlier, it like people have bought into the brand because you've asked them questions. Now I want to see what's going on. What funny thing has Ashleigh posted today on Instagram? That always helps. But how would you say, like growing up, like your parents raising you, how has that kind of morphed the type of entrepreneur that you are today?
Let's see. So I didn't grow up with, I guess, knowing any other entrepreneurs. My parents were very much, I guess, a lot for my generation. Like, you need to go to school, get a job, save, retire. So that model doesn't work for entrepreneurship at all. And I think I had to do a lot of unlearning, especially when it came to money, to be able to do entrepreneurship. And that risk-taking aspect that is not really, I guess, discussed from like my parents' generation is very much a key. Keep what you have and then have fun after you retire.
Yeah.
But honestly, I really think that social media was kind of the push. You know, we got to a time where we got to see other people's lives and what they were doing. And it's like, okay, well, I can do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it's a possibility. The possibility is endless, and we're seeing that with other people's lives. So I had to do a lot of unlearning to get into the entrepreneurial space.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think like my dad was very nervous when I was an entrepreneur, and when I went full time too, even more so. Are you sure? Like, and not in an unsupportive way, but just wanted me to have, you know what I mean? Didn't want me to go without. And looking back on it now, you know, I appreciate that because it kind of kept you on your toes a little bit. Yeah. But then at the same time, I think it's because, to your point about them not having any immediate entrepreneurs in your life, everyone just had went to school, came back, got a regular job, working for somebody else, and, you know, kind of went forward. Like seeing people that are successful in that space was not something that we grew up seeing, like at all. I can't even think of like someone I know that's close to me that was a full-time entrepreneur growing up.
Me either.
Not one.
My dad was the exact same way. Like, you sure you wanna spend your money on you sure? Like, yeah. Like it just became something that I thought about constantly. Yeah. All day, all night. I'm like, okay, if I don't put whatever this is out, I'm gonna regret it later on in life. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, if anybody's had a conversation with like an elderly person, you know, they'll talk to you about their life story, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually they'll get to the things that they regret not doing. I'm like, I don't want to be that person.
It's excellent. No, it's the truth. Like, you think of people who are like, just like you said, other people like, oh, I regret this. I regret not starting that. Or I know this guy, he was online, I was listening to a podcast. I can't remember what it was called. And he said that he regretted not starting. You remember those Live Strong wristbands that everybody used to wear, the Lance Armstrong ones? And he was basically saying about 3 years before that became popular, he was wearing them every single day. And he used to write sayings on them and would do different things. That was like his motivation. And he was like literally, and he wanted to start doing it, and someone talked him out of it. And literally about 3 or 4 years later, these Live Strong things. I mean, obviously, Lance Armstrong has had some other things happen since then, but at the time, it was a really big deal. Everyone had them on, you know, it became a thing. And he was like, that's my biggest regret in life.
That was my idea. I should have went for it. Look at what it could have became.
Yeah. Look at what it should have became. I mean, my family doesn't agree, but I feel like the original idea for like Uber Eats and all that type of stuff, that was me. I'm telling you.
Really?
Yes. I did biz camp in I was like 12 or 13. And I had a business idea that was called Restaurant Connect. I just here in Bermuda. And the idea was you called us, we put in the order, we went and got it for you and delivered it to your home. And I was 10, 13 years old. Like, Mark Zuckerberg, who? That should have been me. Like, honestly. But obviously there's no proof of it, but I'm telling you, it happened. And, you know, I agree with you in not having those regrets and doing things. And sometimes it's okay to fail too.
That's the thing. I was like, even if it doesn't work, at least I got it out of my system and out of my brain, and it did something, even if it failed. At least I could say I did it.
Yeah. So what's, I guess, now that you've done it and it is successful, you know it's successful, you've created this brand, you've got a great formula. Like I said, I use a good bit of the products as well. Like what gives you like what's your why every day to like keep going? Like the next restock or the next, you know, whatever it is. What is that why for you?
Honestly, it's my community, like the girls that follow me. It's so humbling. Like if I'm walking down the street and somebody's like, "Oh my gosh, Ashleigh, I really love your products," or somebody stopped me in the grocery store. Oh, well, this one story really touched me. It was this lady. She stopped me in the grocery store, and she was like, "I followed your page. Or I've been following your page, and now I have these conversations with my daughter, that I probably wouldn't have if I didn't have your page to follow. Like, you know, the conversations be a little uncomfortable. So, you know, I'll show her your page and we can have a little giggle and then, you know, talk about the more serious stuff." And I was like, wow, like just from the content that I put out, now you're having conversations with your daughter. So that type of stuff is what keeps me going. Just having a space where people don't feel uncomfortable about these types of topics. It's not necessarily the products for me and the sales and all of that. Like that's obviously great, but like when people say that the product works for them, that's what makes me feel good because I can empathize with that. Like just having that insecurity or lack of confidence, you know, or girls saying, you know, I walked on the beach this summer in my bikini and I felt good. Like that means everything to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So would you say you would teach your daughter differently to how you grew up when it comes to intimate care now?
She is going to get a whole lot more than she bargained for.
Yeah.
Poor sight. I'm going to talk to her about everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Like, I think it's important. It's the first time that you hear certain things as a woman as well, as a girl, I feel like should be from your mom. Yeah. A lot of stuff. Like, I think my mom, period-wise, she was very open about that type of stuff from the beginning. She was very much so, this is what you expect, this is what you do, all of that. And I value that to this day.
Yeah. It makes you, I guess, not listen to the outside noise that you may hear from, you know, your peers or somebody else. It's like, okay, no, I heard this from my mom, so this must be, you know.
Yeah. And you trust your mom, right? Yeah. Like, so that's always really good.
Exactly.
But yeah. So how does being a mom and an entrepreneur and a traditional 9-to-5er, like, add that addition on their mom life? Like, how is that going?
It is a challenge. But what I try to do is carve out me and her time. So this is uninterrupted time, no TV, no phone, no anything. So that's just me and her. And she, you know, she'll expect to have that uninterrupted time, but also bringing her to make products with me. So now she's, you know, she's mixing stuff. And if I'm putting something on the scale, you know, what numbers do you see? So there's like a little bit of education in there. And she gets to see, you know, the formulations and how they come together. So I'm trying to bridge both of them so she feels like she's not being ignored or, you know, something is more important than her. And then she thinks it's fun.
Yeah, which is also a plus.
Yeah, it's a plus.
And it's pretty cool. Like, seeing all that. I mean, I'd watch those videos of people making stuff all day, every day. Like, it's pretty cool to see happening.
She loves it. And then she walks around school saying, my mommy makes soap. I make soap with my mommy.
It's like our party trick now. That's what she does.
So, her teachers at school like, so you make soap? I'm like, yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Kids are hilarious. Oh my goodness. And they're so like pure with like their experiences of things, right? And how they take things on. It's so cool. So have you ever been like afraid as an entrepreneur? Like, is there something that like happens? And when I say afraid, like, is something you fear, like a good month, a bad month, someone not liking your product? Like, how do you navigate that?
Is somebody not liking something? Yeah. But mind you, I haven't really had that experience, thank goodness. I think the fear for me was just starting. It was, well, what if nobody supports it? Or what if people think this is a silly idea? Or stuff like that. That's what hindered me starting. And then I guess another fear, when I started to get momentum and there was more hype around my brand, I was like, I don't want people to just think this is hype and then it just dies down. And I don't know, I didn't want how do I word it? The brand not living up to the expectations.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. But again, luckily hasn't been my experience. But that is what I think about. Like, I always want people to have a good experience. I want them to enjoy the products. I want people to see results from the products. But I've had a good experience so far.
Yeah. So you said in the beginning that one of your biggest fears was getting started. Like, how did you overcome that and just like, you know what, I'm gonna do this?
Just talking to myself, like, God, if you don't put it out there, you're just gonna sit with this and live with it and just have the wonder, what if, why. I was just like, just start it, see what happens. The worst that could happen is that, I don't know, nobody buys and you would still be right where you are with
a few, you know, dozen cases of things that you can just use for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the worst that could happen.
Yeah. And that wasn't the case. So that worked out even better.
Yeah.
So do you have like a mentor or anyone that you kind of go to for like entrepreneurship or in just life period that you like kind of bounce ideas off of, talk to?
I don't really. Not a mentor per se, but I feel like the small business community in Bermuda, a lot of people, they would just reach out to me and be like, hey, I like your brand, I like what you're doing. If you ever need help with something, I'm here to talk, or I've gone through this challenge, I can help you with da-da-da. So I feel like a lot of us, we just reach out and talk to each other. We've never really met each other, but we're like internet business besties.
Yeah.
And that wasn't something that I expected. I feel like in Bermuda, you know, most people are like, oh, it's such a small place, like people wouldn't really help each other. But everybody's been so supportive. Like, Ash, you know, don't forget to pay your payroll tax. Don't forget da-da-da.
That's a big one.
Did those types of things.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think like there's I wouldn't say like a formula or anything like that, but something that's worked for you that you think has made your business more successful, that you can say, you know what, that's really what has been like the driving force for me in my business?
I think just that community aspect. I feel like I didn't just say, hey, I have a product, come buy tomorrow. I had, you know, I started my social media page on my birthday. So I was like, well, that's the most traffic I would get to my personal page. So I said, okay, yeah, happy birthday, but I'm starting a business. Go follow my page. And like I said earlier, I had 6 months of no products. So during those 6 months, I posted every day or every other day, just education, just memes, funny stuff, posts, questions, and just built that community with my products. And then, you know, by the time that 6 months happened, people were like, girl, whatever you're selling, I'm going to buy it because you have been prepping me for 6 months. And so, you know, my first restock was, I think, really successful because of that prep. It's like dating. Like, do you go with guy A who is like, hey, you're cute, like, let's go Netflix and chill? Or are you going to go with guy B who's like, hey, you have a nice vibe, can I take you out to dinner? You know, you could get to know me, I could get to know you, let's see if we're a fit. I'm pretty sure you're going to go with guy B.
Yeah. He doesn't exist, by the way, but I'm joking. Maybe. But yes, I get it.
You know, you want to date somebody, see what they're about. And I think that's what happened with me. You know, I just got people to see like what ingredients I was using and showing them the behind the scenes of me making stuff. Yeah. And having my Wednesday relationship questions. Like, it didn't feel, or I tried to make it not feel so salesy. Like,
people bought into it.
Buy.
Yeah, but they bought into what you were putting out as opposed to like the product itself. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't gimmicky. It wasn't at all. And it was such a gap in the market as well. Like you have a lot of people out there like doing women care, but like outward women care, not intimate women care. But then you have the other people out there that are teaching women about their anatomy in their intimate space, but not really how to routinely take care of it. So it was really great timing if you look back at it right now.
It's just a whole mix of things that I think lined up for me.
Very, very well. And then on top of it, the products work.
They work.
And it's good too, right? That's really helpful when it's like that. But I know you said you're an introvert and, you know, are you still nervous or are you a bit more comfortable now?
A bit more comfortable.
Okay, see, there you go. Is there anything out there that people misunderstand about you that you like are, you know, that's not me, I'm actually whatever?
I feel like kind of what you see is what you get with me.
That's
like
good.
I'll never be the extrovert in the room. I will always be, you know, to your side and having my, you know, like I feel like you would get that vibe from me if you met me. So I don't think so. I don't think there would be any misconceptions.
Yeah, that's good. If you could, I guess, go back to that 18-year-old you who didn't know what to do, or what she wanted to do as she got older, what would you tell her now?
Try different things. And it's okay if you don't like something. Like I stayed at my lash job for 11 years and I was like, you know what? If you didn't, prior to that, I feel like just try different roles. It's okay if you don't like it. You can try something else. Like you don't have to. I think it's the comfort thing of just staying somewhere that feels comfortable.
Got you.
It's okay to try.
Yeah.
Just live life.
So much time, more time than you think you have. That's for sure. Yeah, definitely. Especially when you're younger, like we're so focused on just doing, you know, going to school, being a doctor, being a lawyer, being whatever that may or may not look like. And then you're kind of like, well, I didn't really like that, you know, and I could have done something else.
Yeah.
That's also.
And also in Bermuda, I feel like there's such a focus on business, international business, and it's accounting. You may not love it.
Yeah.
Like it's okay to try different things. Like there's a whole wide world out there. There's different countries where you can do what you're actually passionate about. You don't have to be stuck here.
Yeah, definitely. And then finally, like, what is something that you would give advice you would give to someone who wanted to kind of, not necessarily your market or wanted to start a business, something similar? What's something advice you would give them in that space?
A laundry list.
Like things you didn't know, I should say. Yeah.
What can I do? The things I do know.
Yeah.
Definitely knowing what you. First, knowing who you are. What your boundaries are. What you will and won't do. Because there's so much information that's put out there in the business world. So just stick to who you are, because if not, you'll get swayed all over the place and do things that, you know, don't really line up with you. And know what you want your brand to be. Know who your target audience is. Your target audience is not everybody from the ages of 16 to 65.
It's not.
It's not. Like, pick who your target audience is and just talk to them. Other people will buy, but speak to that one demographic and build a community around your brand. Nobody just likes to be sold to. So build a community, be of service. Like it's serving people, whether you have a product or a service, it's serving people. You're helping them with their pain points. So if you're always in the mindset of serving over money, I feel like you'll always be successful. And changing your mindset around money, I think, is also a big one. You have to spend money to make money. The tighter you hold onto it, the harder it's going to be. Like, money is an exchange. You spend it, you get it back. You lose it, you win it back. It's just what it is. You have failures, you have wins, you have more failures than you do wins. You just have to roll with it. Yeah. Every day is different.
I think that's all excellent advice. Shoot, it's advice I wish I knew back in the day too. So it's definitely good advice to have. Well, thank you, Ashleigh. But see, it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad at all. Just
My
you,
heart's
me,
still
and Lara. It's all fine. All right, guys. So we just had a great episode with Ashleigh, who is the CEO and formulator of the Sade Milan brand for women's intimate care. Ashleigh, tell us about where we can find you to purchase when it is in stock for all of your products.
So our website is www.shademilanscan.com, and we are on Instagram at shademilanscan.
Perfect. All right, when's the next restock? Do we have a date yet?
We do not have a date yet.
All right. So, guys, make sure you follow the page so you can see the next restock date. And don't be like me. Do not wait until you get home from work. Make sure you purchase the product early in the morning so you don't miss out on some of the great things that this amazing local female-owned brand has to offer. Once again, thank you for watching Hustle Her podcast. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share this episode if you got something from it, and leave us a comment and let us know what you thought. And also make sure you go to the website, www.hustleherpodcast.com, so you can follow some show notes. You can get Ashleigh's full bio along with a bit more about the brand. And if you have any additional questions, you can sign up and get a lot of our content ahead of everyone else. And thanks again for watching Hustle Her Podcast.